You're not on the field, court, or ice. CWall. You're on the couch. From DG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's CWall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. CWall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington football team update. And yes, indeed, we are all gathered again another day after the game, celebrating a victory. Can you believe that? 4 in a row. 4 in a row for the Washington football team. And we're here to do all of the discussion on the team and everything going on. We have a couple of housekeeping items that we have to go through as we get into the show and get started. First, has everyone said hello to each other? Has everyone said hello to each other? Make sure you all are saying hello to my mama. Make sure you say hello to her, to Mama Waller. Make sure you say hello to Joy, who is a CWall team member who has the show going ever so well every single week, all throughout the week. Have you liked the show? Have you loved the show? Make sure you're hitting the like and love buttons, and make sure you are sharing this show. I think it's safe. It's absolutely safe to tag a friend. And it is safe to say that this is the Washington football team loving family and friends. You can say that again, right? So I'm seeing folks checking in. I see Mike Lyles. I see Daryl Taylor. I see Bear. I think I see Cameron Mingo and others joining the live discussion. There's a lot to be discussed. A lot to be discussed for a variety of reasons. So make sure you get your folks in on the live discussion. As always, you can always catch the show again, and you can also catch it on your local cable television network on Fridays at 1:30 and again at 2. So you can catch that. Channel 11 if you have Verizon Fios, and channel 77 if you have Comcast Xfinity. So getting through all of the housekeeping items, because we have to absolutely still go down the list of the conversation, and just we got to get through it, y'all. We got to get through it, and it's always a lot to discuss, and it's fun coming to discuss it when you have something positive to say, isn't it? It's always much better than, much better, if you all know what I'm saying, and I'm sure that you all do. So we have to do our first segment, first game, if you will. But before we do that, let's take a quick break to share a word from one of our advertisers and sponsors, RoofMax. So shout out to RoofMax. RoofMax adds years of life to your current roof and saves you thousands of dollars, only a fraction the cost of a roof replacement. This is a woman and Black-owned business servicing the Washington metropolitan area. Make sure you go to roofmax.com for a free assessment. So I hope you all have gotten all that information from RoofMax, and make sure you look them up, follow the page. You never know when you may need a new roof. If you need one now, you might want to give them a shout out and a contact. Now, moving to our first segment, you all know what it is. What's your one word? What is your one word, keyword takeaway to describe how you're feeling after the Washington football team has gone into Las Vegas, Nevada, and defeated the Las Vegas Raiders? What is your one word, everybody? So can't wait to see all the one words come in. Daryl, I see that you've said exciting. So that is your one word after the game. Mike says Dallas. That is his one word. And we're going to absolutely get to the Dallas week conversation in a few, for sure. Cameron Mingo is saying that he is hyped. That is absolutely his one word. Bear is saying the kicker. That's his one word. Wallace is sharing resilient. That is Wallace's one word. You all listen, we can get the one word conversation going, and all of those words are applicable for this week. But we started last week a segment on the show that I'm now calling the Give It Up. This is the Give It Up segment of the show, in which this is absolutely for, we decided, the CWall team has decided this is something that we'll do when there's a positive game, a positive atmosphere, the team comes up with a win. So this is a segment where we shout out everyone that we think gets some credit for the win. Of course, a win is a win, and everybody has contributed to that. But who brought some great energy and just some aha moments that we said, you know what? We're going to give it up. We're going to absolutely give it up and shout out these folks or this person. So let's go ahead and get down on the give it up list. Last week, we gave it up for a fan. And guess what? This week, yet again, giving it up for the fans. You guys, if you know any of the fans that I'm about to show in this video clip right here, tag them in here. Tag them in these videos. This video, we're gonna soak it all in. And here's why we're gonna soak it in. Because yes, we know that Las Vegas is a lot of fun. It is a fun city, and if you're going to go anywhere to go on the road, go to Las Vegas. But the way that the fans showed up and showed out in Las Vegas, Nevada, at all weekend long, and at all the parties, at the game itself, that deserves a give it up to the Washington football team fans, because that energy is exactly the energy that the team, hey, when they're doing well, listen, the fan base goes through enough. The fan base goes through enough. And I have come on this show and I have talked to you all about that. In the years of everything that folks have gone through, when the team is winning and the team is doing well, it's like, if nothing else, can we at least come together and be excited about the team and excited? I know that Randall Martin from the Washington football team, 85 South fan club in Atlanta, is always excited. So shout out to the fans. Speaking of which, here was the message. And if you all follow the CWall Sports and Entertainment business pages, you know that I have definitely been posting and commenting Ron Rivera's message to the fans in the after game press conference.
The biggest message, we need y'all. We really do. I mean, and again, look at where our opportunities are. We've got 5 divisional games in a row, okay? We got to take them one at a time, okay? We're playing the division leader twice. This is the first one. We need everybody. All hands on deck. Let's roll.
Listen, Ron is still fired up. You heard him. Let's roll. And yes, everybody is talking about the cost of the tickets. We know they are expensive. The team actually, maybe about 30 or so minutes ago, just released some limited standing room only tickets. So if you all can get out there to the game, you're going to hear this message all week long because Ron Rivera has come out and said, hey, we need folks in the building. Absolutely need people there. Listen, you all, it needs to look like a home game. It needs to look like a home game. Like seriously. And despite all of the ups and downs, if the fan base can come together to control what you can control, and that is being in the building. Now, listen, we all know that the building is not as snazzy as many of the other NFL buildings. But at this point in time, with this type of excitement, it's hard to say, and it's Dallas week, because we're going to get to that. Mike, I know you put it in the chat. Coach said it, the division leaders. They are the division leaders. It's something to be discussed and something to be talked about. I want to bring this up too, because team president Jason Wright brought this up in response to what John Keim tweeted that Ron Rivera shared in the after game press conference about his message to the fans. Like he said, Ron is so spot on. We know it will take time to fully build us back up as a fan base. We are and will keep doing our best. In the meantime, the guys need you in person, giving that fan energy now. Let's pack FedEx Field. I feel something special is brewing. Listen. Got to strike while the iron is hot. Have to strike while the iron is hot. Right now, the iron is hot. It is hot for certain. And as Joy put here in the chat, the show is jam-packed with content. Still much more content to come for certain. Let's move on to the next Give It Up. Who else am I going to give it up to this week? Who absolutely has caught my eye in that game? And I said, you know what? This is who I'm going to give it up to next. I'm going to add you to the Give It Up list. Antonio Gibson. Now, I know this might be a shock. This might be a shock coming from me. Because listen, you all, if I'm being completely objective and honest, Antonio Gibson scares me. He frightens me. Every time he is handling the football, I cannot breathe. And the reason why I cannot breathe is because I am terrified that he is going to fumble the football. But the numbers are here. The numbers are right here in our faces that he is the NFC rushing leader right now with 800 yards. Shout out to Antonio Gibson. I feel like I can't breathe most times when he has the football. But hey, listen, the numbers are there. The numbers are there. So we have to absolutely shout out Antonio for the tremendous job that he is doing with getting yardage. But oh, please hold on to the football. We're going to come back right after this commercial on who else is on the Give It Up list from this week's win against the Las Vegas Raiders. So, you all, next up on the Give It Up list, and I think I've seen some of you already commenting, so I think we're on the same page at the next person on the list.
Guts personified by Johnson, and Washington in the lead with 37 to play.
Wow. Talking about confidence in your new kicker. You bring him in this week.
Listen, some folks on the team didn't even know his name. Jonathan Allen admittedly said, did not know his name at all. That was the game-winning field goal. Listen, Joey Slide's out. We know that Joey Slide's injured, but Brian Johnson, who is a Washington, D.C. native, everyone. Washington, D.C. native. Now, I think he grew up a Ravens fan, but we're going to give him a pass because Brian is in his early 20s, so I can kind of see that. He has not experienced the Super Bowl years, so I get it. But Brian is from here, so I am so just straight up, just really, I was happy. I was happy in that moment, like, wow. Because could you really have, there was definitely a lot of trust, like the announcer said, but could you have really put that in? If he missed it, could we all have been upset? But the fact that he made it, it was like, wow, he really made this, really made the game-winning field goal. That's big. That is huge. And that is huge. Confidence builder, especially when you can come in and most of your teammates do not even know your name yet. So, shout out to Brian Johnson. Here's a few honorable mentions. I must say, Bobby McCain covering late in the game. That was a key possession right there for the defense. And let me also say this. I know a lot of folks were saying that was a pass interference. I absolutely think that play was clean. And I'm not being biased either. I was watching so hard. As soon as I saw that it was going Bobby's way, I said, oh, here we go. And I thought it was clean. I thought it was good defense. I truly did. That to me was a sealing the deal kind of moment. We know that earlier in the season, Bobby McCain had a lot of feedback when the media was critical of the job that the defense was doing. Hey, listen, when you're not playing well, we got to call it out. And when you are playing well, we got to call it out. So I'm going to shout out Bobby McCain again. I think I shouted him out a couple weeks ago and say, hey, that was great defense right there, Bobby. I appreciate that. And I'm sure the rest of Washington football team nation appreciates it too. Another one from an honorable mention standpoint this week. I know I've seen some comments about the offensive line. The offensive line has been holding up like you all would not believe. It is just crazy how they are still holding up and being so efficient and effective. But specifically, I wanted to shout out Charles Leno, because what good is the game without just a tad bit of trash talk? And at the end of the game, after the Washington football team was victorious, he definitely gave a nice hand wave to the crowd and did the whole boo-hoo-hoo crying eyes. And I thought that was pretty funny. I did. And I wanted to give Charles Leno a shout out for that. So that was the shout outs for this week. Here's some other, going back again to just the offensive line and what this offense is doing. Because again, I am very critical of Scott Turner. But this stat that Nikki Jabvala from the Washington Post tweeted out is key. Over the last 4 games, Washington has had 14 drives of 9 plays or more. 11 of those drives ended with a score. 8 touchdowns, 3 field goals. Wow. Wow. Even with the various injuries on offense, the team is still finding a way to execute as effectively as possible on both sides of the football. I think that is worth recognizing. But even with that note that Nikki posted, I'm like, that should be shared. That note should be highlighted from an offense that wasn't doing much of anything and getting any type of traction early in the season. So, gotta give it up, gotta give the shout outs and give the credit where it is due. Absolutely got to give the credit where it's due. Now, with all of that being said, it is Beat Dallas week. One of the things you all heard me say last week is if the Washington football team can go into Las Vegas and beat the Raiders and make this win streak 4 games in a row, that means they hot. They hot. They feeling this. And this is just not the players. The coaches and the coordinators are showing they got something to prove too, right? They're showing the preparedness, the adjusting of let's try to make this work. Now, hey, listen, because I did have conversations with a couple of Raiders colleagues earlier today in which it wasn't so much about the Washington football team. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do in making stops and being effective on offense when necessary. But the Raiders just couldn't get it going. That's all true. I believe it. We all saw it. But so what? The win is what matters. Who came up with the W in the end? And in the end, the Washington football team is who came up with the W. Not much offensively. If you all recall, the Raiders had been off for quite some time too. It makes you wonder. The Raiders had not played since Thanksgiving. They had a long stretch of being out, right? Resting in preparation for this game. Sometimes resting can go into the opposite. Sometimes taking too long off isn't good for the team. Dallas played last Thursday, right? They won't play again until this coming weekend. So I'm seeing comments in the chat. I mean, Ron Rivera is absolutely correct. They are the division leader. What we are coming up against right now is kind of the moment that we've all been discussing and have been waiting for the entire season. It was the final 5-game stretch where the team has to play all division games. All division games. So we're going to go one at a time. We're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves because I got other things to say about the position that the Giants are in and what the Eagles are in right now, right, as a team. But I still want to say Dallas is a test because here's the thing. Here's the thing I've been watching. Last year, when Washington beat Dallas twice, Dallas did not have Dak Prescott leading the offense. Dak Prescott matters. He matters. And he's good. He's very good. But hey, so is Tom Brady. So is Russell Wilson. Derek Carr not all that bad either. Now, I know, folks feel neither here nor there about Cam Newton, but it's not like this team hasn't gone up against in these last 4 weeks credible quarterbacks, Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, right? Super Bowl attending quarterbacks, right? absolutely have been impressed as well with the way that the depth has shown up on defense. I want to keep talking about that depth. It's important. It's important. I think this team can absolutely be ready to go against Dallas. I know many folks were worried about Logan Thomas and his potential, the fear that he may have torn his ACL. Well, coach shared today, it's not as bad as they thought. They're still running tests. They're still trying to be sure of his situation. But what they feared worse is not the case, but they still need a bit more testing to see what is the damage to his knee exactly. So the probability that the team will still be without Logan Thomas, and Logan Thomas was making such an impact. Oh man, it was just so great to have Logan Thomas back on the field and already making just a huge impact. And I know for a fact he was happy about being out there as well. So it's crushing to know that there's a strong possibility that he will not be playing. Landon Collins could potentially come back. They're looking, hopefully, for him to be back at practice as an active participant this week. They're also looking to see if Montez Sweat can be back as an active participant in practice this week as well. I think what the team is experiencing from everywhere, from the position coaches and the coordinators to the players, is that they're coming together. They're coming together. They're coming together on a common understanding, a common ground. And they're preparing in a way that they're preparing for their opponent that they're going to face that weekend. They're not concerned about the opponents 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks from now. They're concerned with the opponent that is facing them straight up, head on. And I think that this team could make a move. I mean, this goes back to the point of the fans being in the building. The players have absolutely shared. I mean, nobody wants to just encourage all the fans to go to the game, but then they lay an egg. So everybody wants to see a good game. And let's see if the team can allow players where their strengths are, keep them operating in their strengths. That's going to be key. One of the things, while Dak Prescott will be the quarterback, I think one of the important things to remember is that one of the things that I enjoyed last year, the Thanksgiving game, was the creativity. Now, if Scott Turner can end up being creative in a way that the team can still execute. Now, don't get creative and you're out there doing too much. And I'm like, well, what was that? What is going on? What is happening there? Not that, but be creative in a way where they're not prepared for what you're bringing forward. And the defense has to do what they have been pretty good at. If with Landon Collins back, hopefully, because the linebacker position was hurting this past weekend, but they ended up making it work. Still more to come. As Kenneth Foot said, having to score in the red zone, absolutely. When you get down there, you got to score. And I think it's time for the defense to make some plays that results in a score for them as well. More to come. More to come. Very, very exciting week, you all. Very exciting. Stay tuned. I hope you all go to the game, seriously, because they're asking for the fans to be there. So with that being said, you all were at our time for this evening. You all continue to like, love, and share the show. And I will see all of you again soon.
You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From UG to DC, this is Coach.